feeling lost, misplaced, misunderstood, just in general, like, I need to get out of here. That's kind of where I'm at and what I would like to talk about today. What's up? My name is Wojtek and welcome to Travel Thoughts, which sounds like something that might be a regular series. I'd like to build a little bit of a personal relationship between us. I just figured some people are interested more in the films, other people are more interested in me, which is like, I really appreciate that. Speaking of which, I love how much you loved and still love the last film about Kuala Lumpur. If you haven't seen that for any reason, please check it out. If you're here just for the films, wondering like, why are you talking to me? Where are all those visuals? Where is the story? Where's the voiceover? Working on something new, I just need a little bit of more time for that. I'm researching a lot and also trying to get a hold of a few people for interviews. And this is also another reason I'm doing those videos, just to have something in between I can upload for you. And the algorithm, just being honest. Like, please don't judge me. The title says post-travel depression and reverse culture shock. Now, I don't really know if that is what I'm speaking about. I think it is, but this video is most definitely about coming home, returning home from travels and how that actually feels like. I believe that I have kind of a unique point of view because technically I returned 2 times and both times were very different. Looking back and comparing that experience to what I am now, I think I may have found something that is a key factor that might actually influence how you feel and how you deal with that situation coming back after traveling long term. Now, post-travel depression is a term I found a lot of people used. I just thought about speaking about symptoms, but it's not really like a disease. It's like some people, I don't know, it can really turn out being a depression, but I don't want to speak about symptoms, but just about how you generally might feel when you're going through a post-travel depression, which essentially is that you feel lost and you feel misplaced pretty much everywhere. And that is happening because you don't really identify with the surroundings you're in or you're back in. And I think what describes it pretty well is that post-travel depression might just be that feeling of that identity you've built up over that time traveling just being taken away from you. Because people, when you come back, they don't see you as the you have been or you have evolved in all this time, but they see you as the old you. One of the worst feelings, for instance, is probably when you talk to people, when you tell them about your travels, your experiences, and you're telling them about the most incredible stuff, and they just have this empty look in their eyes, and they don't feel you, they don't understand you, and they're kind of just nodding and, yeah, man, all right. Oh yeah, and then there's also this horrible question. If you have friends that have been traveling, please just don't ask what has been the best country. That's the most annoying question ever. When it's good friends asking those questions, I always try to explain it friendly, and I'm saying you cannot compare one country with the other. It's not really like you could point out the best country, because how you experience a country actually depends on the experiences per se, but also on the emotions you live through while traveling that country. What's reverse culture shock now? How is that different? Is that different? Is that the same thing? I think not necessarily. You experience a culture shock when you dive in a culture you've never been in, you don't understand and you cannot comprehend. When you're visiting India for the first time and you're especially in a hectic place like Delhi, it just looks like mayhem. At points, it might just feel like nothing makes sense at all. That is a culture shock, and a reverse culture shock is when you've not been confronted with your own culture for a very, very, very long time and then getting back to it, and you're kind of not understanding what is actually going on, because what made sense for you the last weeks, months, and years might have just been very, very different. You might also realize, and I think that's also part of the reverse culture shock, that you just have too much stuff. One thing is, as a traveler, normally you don't have too much stuff, but if you haven't missed all your clothes and all your knickknacks and your, what's the word? Furniture. Didn't look it up. Furniture. You might have missed all that and you're just happy to have it back, but maybe you don't. You just fell in love with that minimalistic lifestyle, and now you're back in your culture and you're suddenly having all this stuff around you, all this stuff you really don't need. Here is how my situation currently looks like. It's fine, it's okay, it's not as bad as I thought it might end up being, but it still is a lot. It's not like coming back from a holiday, definitely not. So we're not living back at home, our flat, our apartment, there are people in there. We rented it out while we were on travels, and we will also not go back. Someone just started using the vacuum cleaner. This is just, I'm literally sitting in the room of my little brother, and we're like living at my parents' place at the time. Before that, we lived at the place of Kat's sister. Yeah, that's the situation we're in. We're basically homeless, and we're happy with it. Honestly. I already teased, this is the second time coming back for me, and both times were very different. And there's this scene in the video I made about coming back where I say, I've lost home. The feel of it. That was back then a very devastating feeling, a very devastating epiphany I had, and nothing changed about that. But what has changed is how I handle it. Coming back from traveling and just having a hard time being back here, confronted with this whole system and situation and all this, is a very individual thing, very different for each and every one of you. But I think like time is an advice that really helps, and you should definitely take your time and not get involved in too many things at once and be here and there and everywhere and get in contact with all people. I feel that's just a little bit, that might be a little bit too much. At least that's how it definitely is for me also this time. But what has been very, very different from the last time is that the last time it were external factors that made me decide to go back. An external factor to come home or to stop traveling might also be running out of money, and I see this very often. People all around and everywhere, they just start traveling and they're saying, I'm traveling until the money runs out. The problem with it is that it's no longer you deciding how long you're able to keep going and when you want to come back. So in my opinion, it's really no wonder people feel fucked up about coming back. Even though it was a job opportunity in my case that made me come back, it did not feel like it feels now, where me and Kat both consciously decided that we want to go back. I don't know if we want to, but we decided that it was about time to go back, just because we didn't want this to evolve into an eternal escape. Even though we're having a hard time dealing with it, it's okay just to the point that we decided for it. We subscribed for that. It was our decision. And that, in my opinion, just is a key factor. It changes a lot about how you will tackle the situation of being back, about how you tackle post-travel depression or reverse culture shock. And I absolutely understand that might sound super contradicting. On the one hand saying we decided for that, on the other hand saying it's just a lot, it's stressing me out. I cannot change anything about that. It's just the way it is. So I can only tell you how I am treating, how I am handling the situation, which mostly is by isolating myself. It's that easy. I hope none of my friends think I'm avoiding them or anything, or I'm a dick for not showing up somewhere, or I don't know. These are thoughts I'm having, but at the same time, I just know that every time we go out and we're around a lot of people, I cannot really hear myself and feel myself, and I don't really... There are a lot of unresolved feelings, a lot of unresolved emotions coming back, facing family, facing friends, facing stuff I missed out, like marriages, or just my best buddy, just he's a dad now. They have a baby, and I totally miss that. And sometimes I have kind of like I just want to head off. I just want to not even say goodbye, just be gone, be traveling again, be somewhere else where no one can reach me. But I don't want to follow that feeling. I'm not sure if you can follow where I'm trying to go with this, but What I'm trying to say is it is all about decisions. Everything that happened and that has not happened, everything I experienced and everything I have missed was based on my decisions. And I think the best way to actually return home and to deal with post-travel depression and reverse culture shock is to actually deal with it before even going back. If there's one piece of advice I would actually like to give, except for making conscious decisions based on your perception of happiness and the idea of the future you would actually like to live in, it would be to try not to fall back into being the person you were before you left to go on travels, and also try not to be the person you were on travels. You're neither of those. You've moved on, you've become someone else, that is for certain, and just try to embrace that new personality you're currently building up, that new you. Just make another step, make a step further. You got this. That's what I'm trying to say. You got this. I hope that was interesting, helpful, if not entertaining at least. And before you leave, I would like you to do me a little favor, put a smile on my face and rage on that like button, escalate down below in the comments, gently tap subscribe on your way out, turn around and spinning back first that notification bell. Next time coming up, something about orangutans. I think, I don't know how to call it yet. It might be something like, what happens when the orangutans go extinct? How does that sound? I hope you're stoked for that, because I am. Only love pirates. See you then. Peace. Peace. Oh, that was actually the computer of my little brother. Sorry Daniel. I don't think he's watching my videos. What do I care?